another name or alternative name for a table or view. A synonym is another name or alternative name. Here, what are the table names here? Table names what? EMP, DEPT, like this. Customer. But if we go to real-time projects, they don't take the table names like this. The table names will not be short. They take descriptive names. If they want to store employees' data, so they take the table name like this, employee details. Okay, then table name should be a descriptive name. Or employee, what, for example, personal details. Employee personal details, employee, one table stores employee contact details, like this. Because by seeing the table name, so one must know that what data stored in the table. So by seeing this, by reading this name, you can understand that. So this table stores what? Employee contact details, employee phone number, email ID, address, like that. So then table names are descriptive. If the table name is descriptive, what the problem is? If the table name is descriptive, problem is for developers. Okay, now if table name is lengthy, the problem is for developers, because who writes queries? Developer writes queries. While writing the query, he has to type number of characters. Yes or no? While writing the queries, he has to type number of characters. So then it is difficult for developer. Then what developer can do? Developer can give a simple and short name to the table. Like this, what simple and short name? EPD. Employee personal details, like ECD, employee contact details. For employee contact details, he gives one simple and short name ECD. For employee personal details, he gives a simple and short name EPD. Okay. So now, wherever you want to use this table name, he can use what? Instead of using this table name, he can use this, the simple and short name. So wherever you want to use employee contact details, you can use ECD. Instead of using the table name, now you can use this simple and short name. What this simple and short name is called? Synonym. That's all. That is the main purpose. That's all, nothing. Okay, na? Purpose is simple. So when table name is lengthy, we can give a simple and short name to the table called synonym. So wherever you want to use table name, instead of using the table name, we can use this simple and short name. That simple and short name is called synonym. Understood? Then now, so a synonym is another name or alternative name for a table or view. So we can give the synonym for tables, we can give the synonym for view. Okay, then if table name or view name, table name or view name, if table name or view name is lengthy, then we can give a simple and short name to the table or view called synonym. Okay, now called synonym. and instead of using table name, so we can use what? Synonym name. Okay, then instead of using table name, we can use synonym name. So now, how to create synonym? Create synonym name for table name. Okay, create synonym name for table name. So you are creating the synonym, and you are creating the synonym for which table? We can create the synonym for table or what? View. If the view name is lengthy, so create a synonym. Table name is lengthy, create synonym. Okay, then. So example. Okay. Now, so I want to create a synonym for EMP table. So create, first of all, check EMP table is there. Select star from EMP. Drop it now. Then now create. Now, okay, so I created the table. Okay, then so the table is EMP. Select star from EMP. So I want to create a synonym for EMP table. Actually, not required, because what here name is what? Short. Okay, na? When we create synonym, if name is lengthy, then we create. So just for example, I'll create one synonym. Create synonym E for EMP. A synonym is created for EMP table. What is the synonym name is E. Now after creating the synonym, so you create the synonym, then after creating the synonym, now wherever you want to use table name, instead of using this table name, you can use what? Synonym name. But where we use this synonym name, then after creating synonym, instead of using table name, we can use synonym name. Synonym name in which queries? Select query, insert query, update query, delete queries. In all these queries, so instead of using the table name, you can use synonym name. Like you want to see the data, then you can say select star from E. Select star from E means what? Select star from E means what? E is synonym, but when you run the query, then this query will display the data from EMP table. Okay, this query display the data from EMP table. Okay. Now, not only select query, you can use this in what? You can use this in delete query, update query, wherever you want. Update E. To update the EMP table, you can use this name E. Update E, set commission something, where number equals to 7369. So instead of using table name, you are using what? Synonym name. Okay. Now, clear? Then next. So that's all. That is the purpose of synonyms. Next. So they'll ask what is the difference between, what is the difference between, okay, then once again, they given something like this. They given a, what they asked one question. What is that is? They given three commands. What are the three commands? One is create what synonym E for EMP. Another one, select star from EMPE. Next one, SP underscore rename EMPE. They ask her what is the difference between these three commands. Okay, na? They given three commands. Explain the difference between these three. In this, okay, what is E is called here? Synonym. Here, what is E is called? Alias. So this is synonym, this is alias. That means they're asking the difference between synonym and alias. What? First, tell me the difference between these two. What? So what is the difference between, okay, synonym and alias? What? What is the difference between these two? So, synonym is what? Permanent. Is alias is permanent? No. Synonym is stored in database. Alias is not stored in database. You created synonym now. This is stored in database. If you want, you can check. Then database DB 7 AM open. Here what's it? There is a call synonyms. Expand this. Then there is a synonym. So now it is database object. Synonym is a database object. It is stored in database. But is alias is database object? No. So it's not stored in database. Okay. So then because it is not stored in database, that's why it is not permanent. Synonym is stored in database, that's why it is permanent. So synonym is what? Permanent, but alias is not permanent. Okay, then. Next, synonym is stored in what? Database. Alias not stored in database. Okay. Now, so one is permanent. This is not permanent. This is stored in database, but alias is not stored in database. Then, what is the scope of this alias? Okay, what is the scope of the alias? So the scope of this alias is up to this query, up to the query in which it is declared. So you can use this alias only in this query. Can we use this in another query? No. But what is the scope of synonym? Anywhere in the schema, within the schema. Okay, na? So you can use this E in insert query, update query, delete query within the schema, within the database. Yes and no? Understood? No. So That is what another difference, scope. So here, what is the scope? Okay, na? Then synonym can be used in what? Okay, na? The scope of the synonym. Scope of the synonym is up to the schema in which it is created. Okay, so it's created in DBO schema. Within the DBO schema, we can use this synonym name. Yes or no? Next, so what is the scope of the alias? Scope of the alias is up to the what? Query. Up to the query in which it is declared. In whichever the query you declare the alias, you can use that only within that query. You cannot use that in another query. That's all. So I declared alias here. So you can use this alias only in this query. You cannot use this alias in another query. So the scope is up to the query, yet scope is up to the schema. That's all. So this is the difference. Okay, then. So within the query, you want to give a simple and short name to the table, then alias. But in overall database, you want to give the simple and short name to the table, then synonym. Next. Okay, na? Then that's all. This is what, like, okay, na? Alias and what's that? Synonym. Okay, then. So like you can grant permissions, like we granted permissions on tables and views now. Like that, you can grant permissions on what? Synonyms to Vijay. If you grant permissions on synonym to Vijay, Vijay can access. Yes or no? Yes, Vijay can access what? Synonym. Understood? Yeah. Okay, then that's this is what, like, about synonyms. Next, what the next one is, like, how to drop means same dropping, plus how to see the list of synonyms. You want to see the synonyms list, which synonym is created for which table. Okay, na? Which synonym is created for which table. Then you have to run this query. Select star from sys.synonyms. Okay, sir, some objects information is stored in, like, see, some objects information is maintained in information schema. Some objects information is maintained in sys schema. There are two schemas. One is information schema, another one sys schema. So like this, whatever tables you created, the tables information is stored in information schema, and the synonyms information is maintained in what? Sys schema. Okay, now then now select star from sys.synonyms. Then select star from sys.synonyms. Here what? It is giving what's it? Name, synonym name. What is the synonym name? E. And it's created for which table? It's created for which table? Base table, base object name. What is the base object name is? EMP. That means it's created for EMP table. But I don't want all this. Just I want what? Name, comma, what's that? Base object name. Base object name. Name, comma, base object name. So then select only these two. So it is showing which table, sorry, which synonym, and the synonym is created for which table. What is the synonym name, and it's created for which table? Okay, understood or not? I don't want all the columns. I just want only these two: table name, sorry, synonym name, and the synonym is created for which table. So then run this query. Now, so display what? Display what's it? List of synonyms. Okay, na? Display list of synonyms created by user. Then run this query. Name, next one, base object name. Okay. Okay then. Next, dropping synonym. Dropping synonym. And what? Drop synonym name E. Drop synonym name E. Okay, then that's all. This is about what? Okay, synonyms. Okay, now next. Okay, what the next one is sequences. Sequences. So what is sequence? What for sequences? Okay. Sequence is used to generate sequence numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Use it to auto increment column values. Sequence is used to generate the sequence numbers used to auto increment column values. Okay. Then, so you already know one method to generate the sequence numbers. What is that? Identity, primary key. So there is a primary key is there. I don't want to input the value should be automatically generated. We use identity. Okay. No? So then next, there is one more method is introduced. What that method is? Sequence. Okay. Then, so before 2014 version, SQL Server 2014. So there is only one identity. And from 2014 onwards, you can use identity or you can use sequence. There are two methods. Either you can use identity or you can use sequence. Now, so sequence is also a database object created to generate sequence numbers. Sequence is also a database object created to generate sequence numbers. Okay, then now sequence is okay, then sequence is used, can be used, sequence can be used to auto increment what? Use it to auto increment column values. Okay, then the column value should be automatically generated, auto increment. First one, next one, 2, next one, 3, next one, 4. Can be used to auto increment column values. Okay, and now okay, then now so for example, like what customers go to something, Amazon, etc. Okay, they place orders. They place orders to buy products. Then there is a order number. Order number. Okay, na? I don't want to input the order number. The order number should be automatically generated. First order something 1, second order 2, third order 3, fourth order 4, like that. So I want to generate what order number. So for generating this order number, we can use what sequence. Okay, then one method already you know, identity. Next to sequence. Later we'll see the difference between identity and sequence. Okay, then. So what is the syntax? How to create sequence? What is the syntax? Okay, then create sequence, sequence name, create sequence name. Next one, start with some value. Okay, create sequence name, start with some value. Next, increment by some value. Increment by some value means where you want to start from. You want to start from what? You want to start from 1, 100, 1000, what? Where you want to start from? Start with. If you say start with 1, then sequence starts from 1. If you say 100, the sequence starts from 100. Every time the value should be incremented by how much? If you say increment by 1, then every time the value is incremented by 1. Okay, na? Then now increment by 1. Increment by 1 means increment by 1. That means every time the value of the sequence is incremented by 1. Next one, max value. That means you want to generate up to what? You want to generate up to what? I want to generate, suppose here max value 1000. Then, so the sequence generates numbers up to 1000. Okay. Then if you say max value 1000, then 1000. If max value 9999, then so it generates up to what? 9999. Okay. Next. Then, so there is a call what? Min value. There is a call min value. There is a call cycle, no cycle. There is a call cache size. We'll discuss all this. We'll see what is min value, what is cycle, no cycle, what is the cache size. We'll discuss all these parameters. Okay, then. Now, next. But if you observe this, all these are what? If you observe this, all these are optional. Start with is optional. Increment by is optional. Max value is optional, because everything is mentioned in what? Square brackets. That means that optional, not compulsory. Okay, then. Now, let's see example. Let's see one example. Then let's see one example. But first, I'll create sequence with 3 parameters. Okay, na? First, I'll create sequence with what? 3 parameters. So I'm creating like this. What is create sequence S1? Create sequence S1. What? Start with what? 1. Create sequence S1. Start with 1. Next what? Increment by 1. Next one, max value 5. So then to demonstrate how sequence works, I'm taking the max value 5. Okay. So to how sequence works, to demonstrate how sequence works, I'm taking the max value 5. Okay, then. So the sequence starts from 1. Every time the value of the sequence is incremented by 1 and it generates up to 5. Then now, so after creating, next what? After creating, then what? You created. Then next, we use the sequence. We use the sequence for some table for some field. Okay, na? There is a some table for some field. We use the sequence. Suppose, for example, what I'm doing is I'm creating a table. Create table what? Student. Create table student. One field is student ID, integer, student name. What is varchar of 10? Now, so table is created. Okay, na? Table is created. So first let me create the sequence. Create the sequence. Sequence is created. Okay, I created the sequence. Next, after creating the sequence, create what? Table. Create the table. Create the table. Okay, then create the table. Now table is also, but it is saying there is already object named student. That means what? Table is already there. Then what? Drop table student. Drop table student. Okay, na? So then what is ready? Sequence is ready. Table is also ready. So next I want to insert the data into this table. What is the next? Insert data into this table. But when you're inserting, I don't want to give the value for student ID. I want to give the value only for the student name. I don't want to give the value for student ID. Student ID should be automatically generated. For generating the student ID, I want to use the sequence S1. Okay, na? Then while inserting, just I want to give value only for the name, but I don't want to give the value for student ID. Okay, then so now use above sequence. Use above sequence S1. Then use above sequence S1 to generate values for SID. Use above sequence S1 to generate values for SID. Student ID. Now insert the data. What? Okay. Then insert into what? Insert into student values. Insert into student values. What is the first column? Student ID. What is the first column is student ID. Student ID. Then what I said, I don't want to give the value for student ID. Student ID should be automatically generated. Then use sequence. Use sequence S1. Then what we have to give? Okay, na? What you want to insert into SID is sequence next value. Every time what you want to insert? Sequence next value. Every time get the sequence next value, insert that value into student ID. Okay, na? But question is how to get the sequence next value. To get the sequence next value, you have to write like this. next value for S1. What? Next value for S1. What is S1? Sequence name. S1 is sequence name. What this gives? What this gives? Next value for S1. For the first time, what is this returns? Next value for S1. For the first time, it returns what? 1. Next time, next value for S1 returns what? The previous value is 1, increment by 1. 1 plus 1, then 2. Next time you execute next value for S1. Then previous value 2 plus increment by 2 plus 1, 3. Next time next value for S1, 3 plus 1, 4. Next 4 plus 1, 5. Like that. Okay, na? Then. Now, so insert into student values, next value for S1. Now we have to use, to get the sequence next value, use this. Like next one, sequence name I want to insert. Okay, then sequence name I want to insert. Okay, then. So every time you call this, what this will generate? Next value. For the first time, what? 1. Next time, what? Next time 2. 1 plus 1. Because you said increment by is 1 now. The previous value is 1, increment by 1. 1 plus 1, 2. Next time 2 plus 1, 3. Next time 3 plus 1, 4. Like that. Okay. Now, so then let's see. So then, okay. Create the table. First, create the table. Table is created. After creating the table, then what? After creating the table, okay, na? After creating the table, then insert into what? Student. Insert into student values. 1 row affected. Then what is inserted into student ID? 1. Next one. I want to insert one more row. Execute this. One more row is created. I want to insert one more row. C. Then execute. One more row is created. I'm inserting one more row. D. Now what is inserted into student ID? 4. Okay. Next. I'm inserting one more row. E. Now what is inserted into student ID? 5. I'm inserting one more row. F. Then what is this command gives? Error. Sequence S1 has reached its maximum. Okay, na? Already it's reached maximum. So you said max value is what? 5. But you are trying to generate more than 5. So its max value is 5, but you are trying to generate more than 5. Then what is this command gives? This command gives what? Error. Then. Okay. Now. So then this command gives error. Clear? Then. Then understood? Then every time you insert new record into student table, student ID is automatically generated. Okay, na? Then we don't need to like bother about this primary key value. Okay, na? Sequence will take care of. We have to take what we have to consider. We have to consider only other fields, name, address, like that. but we don't need to what, like primary key, student ID. So SQL Server will take care, sequence will take care of that student ID. Understood? No. So then, like actually where the data is inserted from, where the data is inserted from, if you take real time, okay, na, data is not inserted like this now, but command is insert command only, okay, na? But we are inserting directly from SQL Server Management Studio. You open SQL Server Management Studio, typing the insert command, but data is inserted not like that. Data is inserted through front-end application. Data is inserted through what? Front-end application. Like actually, suppose here there is a customer table. Just see this. There is a what? Customer table is there. Customer table is there. See, in customer table, customer ID is there. Customer ID integer, customer what name, customer what address, customer what date of birth, customer what phone number, like that. So this is table. But in this customer ID, okay, one sequence is there. I use the sequence to generate values per customer ID. Okay, na? I created one sequence to generate values per customer ID, like student ID. Just now we have seen one example, na? Like that. So then this is then sequence. Sequence is used. Next, so then what they do, they create one front-end application. Okay, na? They create one what's it? Front-end application. But in the front-end application, what will be there? Customer ID will not be there. What will be there? Customer name, customer address, date of birth, next one, phone number, like this. So this is the front-end application. So that means user inputs what? User inputs name, address, date of birth, and what's it? Phone number. You want enter what? Customer ID. Then what they do? So customer ID is what's it? Automatically generated with the help of what? Sequence. Understood? And then so next, like suppose here, then this is the front end. This is the front end. Next they write a what's a program. They write a program, and this program will insert the data into what? Database table. So this is the database table. Okay, then so they write a program. That program will insert the data into database table. This is the table. Okay, in program, how they write insert command? They write insert command like this in program. What is insert into what? Customer values. Then what they say? Next value for sequence. Okay, na? Comma. Next one. Text box 2. Name. This is what? Name. This is the name. Next they give the name. Whatever the name is entered. Name. Next one. Address. Next one. Date of birth. Next one. Phone number. Like that. Understood? But user does not enter what's our end user. End user does not enter what? He will not enter what's our IDs. He'll enter only name, address, date of birth, and phone number. And then this application will program what? This application program with the help of sequence, it will insert what's our customer ID. Understood? Clear or not? Then. So that's all. Then so like then clear or not? That's all. This is about what? Sequence. But let's see, for example, in this example, like you see the table. What is the table? Select star from student. Select star from student. See the table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these values are not entered by user. These values are automatically generated. So who generated this? sequence. Select star from what? Student. Select star from student. Student ID. Student, what's her name? 1A. Next one, 2B. 3C. 4D. 5E. Like this. Okay. Okay then. So this example, how to create sequence, how to use the sequence. Okay, na? Then this is how to create the sequence, how to use the sequence. Next one. Example 2. Like, let's see. Then example 2. So then now let's see. For example, like you see the employee table. You see the employee table. Select star from EMP. You see the employee table. In employee table, you see the employee numbers. Suppose employee numbers are not in sequence. Employee numbers are what, sir? Not in sequence. Okay. Then I want to make the employee numbers what, sir? Sequence. Okay. Na? So I'm just giving different examples. First example, at the time of inserting the new record, at the time of inserting new student, for every new student, I want to generate student ID. That is the first example. In the second example, table is there already, employees are already there, but their numbers are not in sequence. So I just want to make the values what? Sequence. Then, so that means now I want to use the sequence for existing, not for the new. In the previous example, new student, we generated the student ID for every new student. Yes. But here the employees are already there. For the existing employees, I want to use the sequence to make this employee numbers what's a sequence, serial. Okay. Then now what I'm doing is first I'm creating the sequence. So where you want to start from employee number? Not compulsory, like, okay, whatever requirement according to the requirement. Suppose they want to start this employee number from 100. They want to start from 100. Then suppose create sequence what? S2. Then start with what? 100. Next one, increment by 1. Next one, max value something. I'm just giving the max value like this. So the sequence starts from 100. Every time the value of the sequence is incremented by 1 and it generates up to 999. Okay. Then, so after creating the sequence, okay, after creating the sequence, now create the sequence. Okay, sequence is created. After creating the sequence, next one. So like use above sequence to generate what's that? Employee numbers. Okay, use above sequence. So to generate the employee numbers. Okay, then. But employees are already there or new employees. We want to generate the employee number for new employees or for existing employees. Existing. Then what? Where you have to call? Where you have to call? Okay, then. Now, where we have to call? In the previous example, you are calling the what sequence? Calling the sequence in what? Insert command. Next value. The sequence next value is inserted. Okay, then next, now what? Because you are calling the sequence next value in insert command because you want to generate the student ID for every new student. But here employees are already there. I want to generate the employee numbers for existing employees, not new employees. Then update. You have to call this sequence in update command. Update emp set what? Employee number. Update emp set employee number equals to. Update emp set employee number equals to what? Okay, na? Then so next value for S2. That's it. Okay, na? Next value for S2. If you want to get the sequence next value, you have to use this expression. You have to write this next value for S2. Okay, then next. So it goes to the first one. It goes to the first one. What is this is? It go to the first one. 7369 employee number. And then the 7369 is updated with next value for S2. For the first time, what is the next value for S2? 100. So this is updated with 100. Go to next one. 7499. Next employee number is 7499. So you go to the next one. So this employee number is updated with next value for S2. What is the next value for S2? 101. Like this. That's all. Like this, it goes to all the 14. Update the employee number. It go to one by one. Update the employee number. So employee numbers are updated with sequence next value. So let me run this command. Next value for S2. 14 rows what's that? Affected. 14 rows affected. Now see the table. Select star from what? EMP. See the table. Select star from EMP. And you see this. 100, 101, 102, 103, 104. Now employee numbers are in sequence or not? Yes. So that means we used the sequence for existing. In the previous example for new one. This is for existing. Okay, then. So in this example, you're calling the sequence in insert command. You're calling the sequence in what's it? Like calling sequence in what? Update command. Okay. Now, that's all. This is what, like previous one insert, next one update. Okay. For existing, you use update. For the new one, call it insert. Next. Just one more requirement is, for example, example 3. One more. Sometimes you want like this. Okay. Then, for example, there is a table called invoice table is there. Invoice table is there. Invoice number is there. Invoice number, invoice what? Date. Invoice number, invoice date, like that. Invoice amount. Okay, now then. So this is the table. I want invoice number to be like this. Invoice number. Okay, now then invoice numbers are like this. What is company code? Okay, na? Then company code something. Okay, then something, some company code. Next one, what? For example, like 11. Next one, 10. 11, 10. What is 11 is month, 10 is day. Okay, no, sorry. Next I want, sorry, 11, 22. 11, 22. What is 11 is month, 22 is what, sir? Year. Year. Okay, no? 22 is year. I want like this, whatever. Next one, /1. Slash what, sir? 1. What is 1? invoice number. First invoice number. This is the code. This is a month and year 11/22. This is the invoice number. Next, here you have invoice date 2022 November, what's that? 10. This is the invoice date. For second invoice, same thing, /2. For second invoice, /2. Next invoice, /3. Like this. I want invoice numbers to be like this. Then how to generate the invoice number like this? I don't want to input invoice number. I want to generate the invoice numbers like this. And okay, how? What? Create what? First, create the sequence. First, create the table. Create table. What? Invoice table. One field is invoice number. Invoice number. Then varchar of some 20. I'm taking like this 20. Next one. Invoice what's it? Date. Invoice date is what? Date. Date is important or date and time is important? Date is important or date and time is important? Date and time. Okay. If date and time is important, take date time. Only date is important, then take data type date. Okay. Then next. After creating the table. Okay, then so now suppose here after creating the table, now let's see next create invoice sequence also. Create sequence S3. Then what? Start with what's that? 1. Next one, increment by 1. So you can also use previous sequence. S2 also you can use. So sequence is not bind to a table. It's not to specific table. You can use sequence for any table. You can also use S2. Okay, na? We can use S2 or not? Yes. Because it's not reached to 999. If it is reached to 999, we cannot use this sequence. So we can use this sequence S2 also. Okay, na? Then, so I'm creating a separate sequence. Then, so max value is what? Something 999. Okay, then. So this is what? Table. This is what? Sequence. Next, I want to generate what? Okay, then. This is the table. This is the what? Sequence. Now, now I want to generate invoice numbers like this. I want to generate the invoice numbers like this. But when you want to generate the invoice numbers at the time of inserting, at the time of what? Inserting. Then what? Insert into what? Invoice values. Tell me how. First one, I want like this NIT. NIT is fixed code, company code. Let's see. Once again, first see this. In single quotes, NIT slash. NIT slash should be concatenated with what? Month and year. Current month, current year. NIT slash should be concatenated with current month and year. Then, once again, first see this. Plus what? Concatenation, what we use? Plus symbol. NIT slash should be concatenated with current month and year. How to get the current month and year? Date part using date part. We can extract only what? Either year part or month part. Okay, na? Then you have to write two expressions, one for year, one for month. So then instead of that, we can use a function. What the function is? format function, get date, get date. What format you want? Should be capital. Next one, what do you want? Year, YY. Then what this gives? This gives what's that? Month and year. 11/22. Format function, it gives whatever you want. Understood? Then. So, okay, na? If you want date DD, then DD. Then it gives what? Day also. Okay. You want time? HH. HH also gives hour. Our part is 08. Small then minutes. Next one, SS, seconds. Like this. Understood? Then. So now, but I don't want this hours, minutes, seconds. Even I don't want day part. I want only month and year. Yes. Now use this format. Use this what's that? Format. Format. Use the format. Now NIT slash is concatenated with what? Month and year. Then next, this should be concatenated with what? Like after month and year. What do you want? Slash. Concatenate slash. Once again, first see this. Slash should be concatenated with what? So this is concatenated with this. Next one. Plus what? Sequence next value. Then you have to write one. What is the next value for S3? Next value for S3. Understood? So what is this month and year is concatenated with slash. Slash is concatenated with next value for S3. What is the next field in table? This whole thing is for what? This whole thing is for invoice number. This whole thing is for invoice number. What is the next one? Invoice date. Then comma what? Get date. Comma get date. But once again, this gives error, sir. Okay, then let's see once again. So let me create table. Table is created. Create table. Create table. Yes, table is created. After creating the table, create the sequence also. Can I create sequence? Sequence is also created. Okay, table is created. Sequence is also created. Next, after this. Now run this insert command. Run the insert command. But if you run this insert command, this gives error. Conversion problem. Why? Conversion problem. Sir, you are doing concatenation now. Concatenation all must be character type, string type, character type. NIT slash is string. Format function also returns string type, character type only. But next value for S3 is what? Integer type. Sequence next value is integer or character? Integer. That's why it is giving error. Cannot convert nvarchar to begin. Then what we have to use? We have to use what's the cast function. Use cast. Cast next value for S3 as varchar. Nvarchar, anything is okay. Okay, na? Cast next value for S3 as what's that? Varchar, nvarchar. Now it will work. Yes or no? Yes. Now NIT slash is what? Character type. Format function also returns character type. Now this is also converted to sequence. Next value is also converted to character type. Character type converted, type is converted, not value. Don't think that what instead of one it will print ONE. Okay, na? Then so what is converted is type is converted. Okay, na? Now run this command. Then one row affected. Now next one row affected, one row affected, one row affected, one row affected. I inserted some number of rows into the table. After inserting number of rows into the table, then what? Select star from what? Select star from what? Invoice. Select star from invoice. Then what it is gives? This gives what? Like this. First invoice what? 1. Second invoice 2. Next 3. Next 4. Next 5. So okay na? Then invoice date contains date and time. Got it? Then so now you have to write the insert command like this. You have to write insert command like this. Okay. Then so if you go and see the table, what? Select what's it? Select star from what? Invoice table, invoice number, invoice what? Date. So you'll get the output like this. Just 1 or 2 enough now. Then you'll get the output like this. You know, then next. That's all. This is what how to use sequence. But if you see these 3 examples, okay, na? First example, okay, yeah, we created a sequence and we generated the values for student ID. Second example, we generated the values for employee number using sequence for existing employees. You are calling the sequence in what? Update command. New one. So sorry, third one. In third one, I want to generate like this. I want to generate like this. Okay, then. So combination, composite. So if you want to generate like this, then this is the method. Okay, then. So here, this is code. This is month and year. Next one, sequence next value. That means sequence next value should be concatenated with this. Okay, then. That's all. Understood? But here in all these examples, we use it only 3. What are the three? What parameters you use? Start with increment and max value. But we are not using what? Min value, cycle, no cycle, what are the cache size. So we are not using this. Okay, then now let's see. Now let's see this here. Then what is cycle, no cycle? Cycle, no cycle. Okay, then okay, then now by default sequence is what? No cycle. By default, the sequence is created with what? No cycle. By default, sequence is created with no cycle. Okay, na? Then so by default, sequence is created with no cycle. What is the meaning? Sequence is created with no cycle. By default, the sequence is created with no cycle. If sequence created with no cycle, okay, na? If sequence created with no cycle, then what? So if sequence is created with no cycle, then so it starts from what? If sequence created with no cycle, then starts from what's that? Start with. Starts from start with. Okay, na? Like whatever you give. Start with, generates up to what? Max value. So starts from start with, generates up to max value. And after reaching max value, then it stops. That's all. It cannot generate more than max. Once it reaches max, then it stops. This is sequence what's it? No cycle. Sequence created with no cycle. Let's take, suppose, sequence created with cycle. Sequence is created with what's it? Cycle. Then it starts from start with. Then it starts from start with. So starts from start with. Then and generates up to what? Max value. Generates up to max value. So after reaching max value, because the sequence is created with what? Cycle, na? So after reaching max value, then it is reset to what? It is reset to min value. It is reset to what's that? Min value. After reaching max, it is reset to what? Min value. Again starts from min and generates up to what? Max. Again after reaching max, then it is reset to min value. Again starts from min, generates up to max. If you want to repeat this min to max number of times, create sequence with what? Cycle option. But you want to only one time, then create sequence with what? No cycle. But if you want to repeat this multiple times, then create sequence with what? Cycle option. Understood? So this is the difference between no cycle and what's the cycle. Okay, then so if sequence created with no cycle, then if sequence created with no cycle, then it starts from start with and generates up to max. Then it starts from start with and generates up to max. And after reaching max, then it stops. After reaching max, it stops. Okay. Next, what? So this is no cycle. First one. Okay. Then next. Next what? If sequence created with what? Cycle. Then if sequence created with cycle, then it starts from start with and generates up to what? Max. Generates up to max. And after reaching max, then then it then it reset to what? Then it's reset to what? Then it will be reset to, then it reset to what? Min. After reaching max, then it reset to min. Okay. So you want to reuse the sequence, then create sequence with cycle. Is that okay now? So after certain days completed, I want to empty the table. I want to restart from one. Once certain days are completed, then what? Then what? Restart the what, sir? Sequence. So that case it is useful. Okay, then. Understood? Okay, then. So we'll see the examples in the next class.